So let's take a look at dividing polynomial expressions. Polynomial expressions division. You can also call this rewriting. Key standards, I don't need you to memorize these key standards. I just put them up there so you'll know kind of what the standard is. There is a standard that's out there. But let's go back to basic division. We're going to learn how to divide this thing here. Okay? This is the goal today, to kind of go through something like this. But you have to first remember about basic division. And if you remember, right here is dividend. This is the dividend. The divisor is the number that you're dividing by. The quotient is what's left up here on the top, and this is the remainder. And if you remember, you first look at the 2 and say, well, 21 won't go into 2, but 21 will go into 28 one time. Well, then you wrote 21 down here, but really what you did is you took 1 times 21, and then you put the 21 in there, and you subtracted and got 7. And then what you did next is you took that 7, and you looked at it for a minute. You said, okay, let me bring down the 3. Well, now I'm saying 21 will go into 73 3 times. So I take the 3, I multiplied it by the 21, and I got 63. And then I subtracted and got 10. Then I dropped the 5, 105, and said, well, 5 times 21 will give me 105 and 0 remainder. So if you remember, that's basic division of how we did these things. But now we're going to practice up here. We're going to practice on polynomial division and how we go about doing that. So that's the focus of this lesson. We'll kind of go through it real quick. So, and like I said, this may seem to go a little fast because it's in the virtual world, but don't worry, we'll go through it a couple times, and I will also have some practice examples. So first, I want you to get used to writing it this way. I take the divisor, there's my divisor, and I put it right here. I take my dividend, and I put it here, and then I draw my radical sign, okay? And I draw my radical sign, and then we start doing basic division. By basic division, what I mean is I'm first looking at this first term here. I'm looking at this x cubed here, and I'm looking at the first term here, and I'm trying to figure out how many times x can go into x cubed. So x cubed divided by x is x squared. Okay? X cubed divided by x is x squared. Then I take that x squared and I just put it up here, which is what you see right here. So that all I'm doing, first step, to make it clear here, all I am doing is looking at the first term divided by the first term, and I'm putting that here. Okay? That's all I'm doing. That gets the process started. So, what do I do next? Well, let's take a look. So next I have to take that first term, the one I just got, and I'm going to multiply it by this term, just like we did in division. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 2 is 2x squared. That's all I'm doing is getting those two things, expressions, and I write it beneath it here. And I write it beneath it, and then all I do is subtract, just like I did in division. And if you do it correctly, this will always be 0, because that's the purpose. You want to slowly move this way when you're dividing. So x cubed minus x cubed is 0. 4x squared minus 2x squared is 2x squared. And then I bring down the x. Just like division, what you learn in 6th grade maybe or 5th grade, just like division, we're going through the process. So as I go to the next step here, let's go to the next one.
Can you go back?
Give me a second here. Let me get to my thing. What's the question?
I was making sure I got it right.
I can't quite hear you. What's the question?
I was making sure I got it right.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go keep going here. Let's go to the next slide. Get my annotating back on here. Now, so I'm going to do the same process now, but now I have this first term. Remember, it was up here. I drew a line. Think of this, moving this line down. Now this is my first term, and dividing it by this term. So 2x squared divided by x is 2x. And I place it here. I'm just slowly moving along. I'm slowly moving along. And the same thing, all I am doing now is taking this 2x, multiplying it by this, 2x squared plus, oh, I'm sorry, I just brought this down. Let me don't be confusing here. I don't want to get ahead. So, brought the 2x up here, and I brought the x down. I'll get to the next one, the next step. I want to make sure you see that. All I did was divide here, put this term right here, and then carry that x down. So that's all I've done so far. So let's take a look here. What do I do next? Well, I continue the same steps I did before, but now I take this 2x and I multiply it by this. Now I take the 2x, I multiply it by these. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. And then I put it right here beneath it. Same process. I put parentheses, minus. This goes to 0. Like I said, it will continue to go to 0. That's the whole purpose as we go down here. 0. X minus 4x is negative 3x. And then I bring down the negative 6. And I bring down the negative 6. See? We're drawing. Annotate. Next step. Go back to my drawing. Now, so I'm repeating the process again. Now I have this as my first term divided by here. You see how this was my first term? This was my first term. And now this is my first term. All I'm doing is slowly working my way down. So I take the negative 3x, divide by x, get negative 3, and then I put that negative 3 right up here. And then I multiply it back out, negative 3 times x, negative 3 times 2, it's negative 3x minus 6. Let's see what that does for me. Okay. And I get a 0 remainder. So my dividend, the number under this division sign here, my divisor, number right here, the quotient right here, and the remainder happens to be 0. Let's say if you happen to get a remainder of 5. Let's say, like I said, let's say this happened to be 5 remainder. It worked out. All that means is your remainder now becomes 5 over x plus 2. That's all you would do because we really don't have decimals and polynomials, so it just be 5 over x plus 2, which is why division is not considered closed because it leaves that realm. It can happen that way. So let's do this. Now, I want you on a scratch sheet of paper, just try to work through this. I'm going to let you draw it. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do it, and then we will work through the answers.